Good evening and welcome to the September 22nd meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody would rise for a pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome for those of you that are with us and those of you that have tuned in on the cable channel. Announcements tonight, we just start by heads up for those that are concerned with Ossipee Lake. Ossipee Lake gates will open on October 1st. This is a 5th year, and the water will be drawn down below normal, so that those maintenance items that are allowable by the DEP can be obtained. The water will be down lower than normal.
Another foot?
I think it's another foot, yeah. If they can get it down another foot. That was part of the problem, if you remember. Well, maybe you don't remember. It was before your time when we were trying to draw it down to do the boat launch. We had some problems and modified the dam. But anyway, long story short is that we will attempt to pull it down a foot lower than its normal winter level.
With the work that they did up there, I think they probably can now.
Yeah, I think now they could pull that plate and pull it down. So, Gordon, you had on the announcement or comment on?
And on behalf of the board, we'd like to express our condolences. We've lost a couple of Waterboro residents. One is James Allen, that you might know from JD Store. He passed away. And David Shalin, a longtime resident of Waterboro, also passed away. So we wish our sincere condolences to them and their families during this particular difficult time. But also want to extend our best wishes to a former selectman, Bimmy Woodsum, who just had open heart surgery, and it's been reported that he's doing extremely well, I guess better than his surgeons had hoped for. So he should be home very shortly.
Okay, anything else, folks? No? Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Appointments. We have no appointments this evening, so we'll move on. Hearing a delegation. Anyone that would like to speak that's not on the agenda? Correspondence. The copy of the treasurer's reports are available. List of vacancies of town boards. They still need some positions on some very important boards within the community. Not to say that they all aren't important, but we do have a couple of folks missing from Conservation Commission, Public Safety, Transfer Station, Planning Board, Fair Hearing,
ZBA,
and the Zoning Board of Appeals. So if anybody's interested, there is a list that's available and it is posted on the website. There's the 8/24 librarians report from the Waterboro Library and the motor vehicle agents report for the month of August as well. Reports of and staff initiatives, selectmen's reports. So start down this in tonight. Dwayne, anything to report?
Water District meeting last night was very informative to where they're going, where they've been, and what they're hoping to do. Probably some of you other board members will add in on it, but I thought it was a very informative meeting and giving out the plan of how they are expecting to add to the water district.
Anything else, Dwayne? Damage?
attended the 12 town group meeting last week. The agenda was what we want to see on future agendas. So it was pretty much just a brainstorming session about ways that the different towns, the 12 towns, can work together. We're going to, at the next meeting, start discussing the broadband issue again, and possibly have a guest speaker on that, and continue the discussion about the 3-ring binder. We started talking about ways that we could share services. One of the things that we talked about was a lot of us have one ACO. And if that animal control officer, something happens, they're out on an emergency or they go on vacation, we don't necessarily have a backup. So we talked about, is there a way that we could maybe consolidate our ACO services so that we actually have a pool that we can draw from, and maybe we've got 5 or 6 ACOs that are in this pool, and if one's not available, we can move on to another one. So we're going to start talking about that. We talked about the 12-town group actually hosting some trainings that would be beneficial to select boards. There's a lot of trainings you can get up in Augusta, but you don't have a lot that are typically down at this end. So we're going to be looking at having a training and areas of discussion that those of us that were in attendance thought would be beneficial would be things like ethics, personnel issues, effective communications. So that's going to be something that we're going to maybe look at planning to have in 2016. So we'll continue talking about that. And lastly, we talked about having an actual web-page email list for the 12-town group. Right now, we have a new secretary. And she seems to be a little bit more engaging with email and whatnot. So I think we'll start seeing, we had a little hiccup with her original email list, but what we talked about was having a web page for the 12-town group that we can post our agendas on, that we can post our meeting minutes on. So if somebody can't come to the meeting, they've got a resource. And then we're constantly getting documents. And, 3-4 months later, somebody might say, well, hey, that 19-page report we got a couple months ago, can I get another copy of that? So putting all of those documents on a web server so that if somebody needs something, there's a place where they can go to get it without having to print up another copy. So it was a good meeting, a couple hours, and I think it gave us some really good direction to go in the next couple of months.
Good. John?
The last Monday night I had 3 meetings basically almost going on at the same time, one starting at 6, one 6:30, one at 7. Community garden, been a great year. The gardens out there, if you've had a chance to look, they're in great shape. They're yielding a lot of vegetables. And it's come to the time when those people who are members this year need to sign up, re-sign for the 2016 gardening year, need to do that by the 15th of October. And if you don't do it by the 15th of October, it opens it up to everybody, so it's first come, first serve at that time. You can still get your garden plot, maybe not your garden plot. You may be able to get a garden plot, providing there's any left. So, those people who are not members that would really like to have a plot next year after October 15th, or you can actually sign up before then, and there'll be if there's extra people that want the plot, we'll open up more plots. Also, the cemetery committee met. They're a pretty active group, enthusiastic group. They were out on off the West Road in the cemetery Saturday to restore that cemetery. I was unable to be there. I was out of town at that time, but my guess is they got a lot of good work done, there's some good energy there. And Recreation Committee, we need membership, you know. You got Bob Gobiel and myself there along with the, so we need new membership. On the other hand, they're always busy, but there's nothing really pressing to put before a Recreation Committee. I think the Recreation Committee is one of those committees that doesn't have to meet every month. If you get several people on and an issue comes up, you get called and you meet. But it's probably doesn't need to meet every month. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, thanks, John. Gordon?
I'm still waiting to hear from the principal at the high school. I know it's early in the school year right now, but I'm just keeping tabs on that so that we can get a student in for his community project to work on our Facebook page, the Waterboro Facebook page. So, that's it.
Okay, and just to get this, most everybody's, excuse me, seen in the news, a few cases of meningitis down at the high school. Not sure where that's going, but, and I'm not sure we have any more information than what you've seen on TV. Pardon me.
Last night the paper said, don't worry about it.
Easy for them to say,
Yeah.
right?
Not a big concern.
A couple of things on the Eco Main front. Just had the annual open house was this last Saturday. From what I understand, it went very well, which they all do. For those of you that have seen and all of the kind of the public service stuff that Frank Gallagher has been doing, he's moving on, so we'll be looking to bring in someone to replace him. We're in District 2, which is the 5, or was the 5, York County towns. Agunquit has dropped out. So it is now Lyman, Leamington, Waterboro, and Hollis. This was Lyman Gia to have the seat on the executive committee. That person evidently has stepped down, so Len Van Gedsby has stepped up for Hollis, so we just ratcheted everything up a year. So Len will finish out this year for Hollis, and then Waterboro will have the seat on the executive committee next year, and then it'll go back to Leamington and whatnot. So that has started to work out fairly well. So planning board meeting last week, and I think the board has seen some of the comments from Gary and myself. I think very well managed the meeting. I think they have certainly had some opportunities for controversy with all of the things that are going on, but I thought they walked through the whole process very well and conducted their business and moved on, which is, I think, certainly kudos to them. The Water District meeting, just to add a little bit to what Dwayne had mentioned, I think, you have to applaud them a little bit that, they've actually gone out and started to, they need to say, what do we need to do to sustain this system? And I think they recognize if they don't do something, then the system is not going to sustain itself. So when you look at, I think the gentleman is Christopher Branch. I don't know if anybody's met him from Sebago Techniques, but he's one of the many PEs that are on the staff there. He handles the water end of it, from what I understand. But I think there's 3 issues here: is storage. There comes a point if something happens to the storage that we have down in the southern end of town, and the north end of town is going to be without water and fire protection. There's a flow issue within the system, and I think they're looking to try to loop some of the system, and that was laid out a couple of ways in their map last night. And then they're really looking for an additional source, and I think that's really where they got to do some poking, because it seems that they're only looking at stuff that they're familiar with and have touched in the past.
Yeah.
So somewhere, somehow, it's got to expand beyond that. And the real issue is, I think you got to, they kind of started the thing of, Waterboro's going to have 10,000 people in it in the next 20 years. Well, there's not 10,000 people being serviced by the water system. It's a region, very, very geographically different. And I think they need to kind of poke at that a little bit to see if, in fact, that, not that it needs to change, but at least who are they servicing or who they potentially to serve. Encouraging thing is that they've launched something and are moving on, and I think that comes with a little bit, with ongoing issues of the comprehensive 2020 committee continually asking them questions, and I know the EDC has continued to ask them because of, you get a few companies that decide they want to come into town and use 10 or 20,000 gallons of water a day, and the question has to be answered of, can you give me that, right, and sustain it. So
I was very surprised with the 5 highest users.
yeah. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty well put together. It was short and sweet, a lot of good dialogue, but we'll see where that goes. So. Gary?
Thank you,
I got
Mr.
one
Chairman.
other thing, if I may, I'm sorry.
Well, this will cost you. Go ahead.
I'm sure it will. Waterboro Photo Days. I just want to bring that up again. That is on the Columbus Day weekend. It's the Friday and before the Columbus Day weekend and Saturday. And I know the gentleman to my left here, Gordon, is a photographer and will hopefully add a few pictures in. But anybody that wishes to take a picture of goings-on in Waterboro, all that Friday and that Saturday before Columbus Day, are welcome to take the picture and send it in to the town via the. David has a.
Email address.
Can you? I beg your pardon?
Currently, just an email address. I believe Carrie is. Let me turn this mic up. There's currently an email address set up, and I believe Carrie is working on a separate Facebook page to let that be an avenue for upload as well.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll get that out to you. There'll be in the next week or two, maybe 2 weeks. There'll be some postings at the library and at post offices and stores. So it's something that if you send in a picture, it will be recognized in the paper, in the reporter. And if it's a picture that seems to work well with the better pictures and has its own story to tell, then it will end up in a large display like the one we have last year that's out in the foyer in Town Hall here. Take a look at that, and there'll be another one developed through this photo day. So thank you very much for the time. Sorry, Gary, to cut into you.
And we do have that posted on the website, correct, David?
It's not yet.
Okay. So we'll stick that in the reminders here of this meeting, and we'll bring it up. The one meeting that we have before that launches, I guess. Or do we meet?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No,
So,
you'd be back.
all right. You all set, John?
Yep.
Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's talk about some staff changes here. Georgia Boisse Hall has been hired for the 2-day-a-week front lobby position and should be starting October 6th. She's a relatively local young lady. She grew up in Shapley, was a student athlete at Massabesic High School. She graduated in 2013 with a degree in communications from a small college out in Indiana. She and her husband live in Limerick, and we're looking forward to her coming in here and adding to our staff here. First 2, maybe 3 weeks, she'll be here full time, Tuesday through Friday, and then drop down to working 2 days a week after that. Still having some good movement on our very close competition for town clerk vacancy. And some more phone calls this afternoon, and I don't have anything to announce right now, but perhaps in the next day or two we will. We're very close, and we have two very strong candidates. Tax bills have been received by all, probably by now, or by their banks. The new mill rate is 4 cents less than last year, as most folks know. The assessor's working through the usual calls that come in with any concerns or problems that might have arisen and any mistakes. Moving over to roads, Deering Ridge Road base coat paving, I'm told, should be done by the end of this week. Moving over to our audit, field staff will be here next Monday to start collecting some information. Our auditor, Chris, has been doing a fair amount of work from his usual 2 to 3 week audit in Vermont this time of year, working off-site with information that Julie has sent to him. I guess I would just offer a few more comments about the meeting last night. It was very well attended. There were 18 people there from Economic Development Committee, Selectmen, Planning Board, our 2 staff, planner and Economic Development Coordinator from SMPDC, Water District Board, and I would agree that it was a good start in getting pointed in the right directions for some long-term planning there. Switch over to Town Hall roof. We really want to get a new roof put on this building before the snow flies. We're working up one estimate now and talking to some other contractors. The bigger contractors have told us they don't have time to even consider it, so we're trying to find someone who has time in their schedule to do that. I've met with our banker concerning salt shed funding, if we're interested in funding that through Biddeford Savings. Obviously, we may go out to bid for the funding process. The planning board did approve the salt shed on September 16th, so everything's moving forward in terms of design, bid specs, etc. We think that we can save some money by renting an excavator and having town staff operate that to dig the hole and prepare for the foundation. So we would just bid out the electrical, the building, and the foundation cement work. I don't see any way that we can get this up for this year to be functional. There's a very long wait. I think it's 2 to 3 months just for the beams to be created for this rather unique building, since it's just an open shell. And one other interesting piece that Peter Sylvester, Biddeford Savings Bank, told me was we could have an open line of credit for a very competitive interest rate. We would only pay for what we use for equipment and other major purchases that are not funded in the budget, that we could have that as just an open line of credit, if you will. Save some administrative running around in terms of shopping for financing. And that's it from me. Thank you.
I got a couple of questions.
Yep.
The roof on this building is going to be over $20,000, correct?
Oh, yes.
Don't our charter require us to put that out to bid? Are we going to have a bid package to put
Yes.
out to bid
Yes.
before we start this project?
Yep.
And I realize Biddeford Savings is the bank that we're doing business with, but it's been 10, 12 years since we've done any shopping for banking, and is it time to do a little bit of shopping to see if we're right where we need to be as far as our money, their money, and we've got 4 banks here in town. We've done business with 2 of them.
Actually, we did, Nancy Brandt did do that, I want to say maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
And
Been done
Biddeford,
since I left.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Biddeford Savings by far
Yeah.
had the best
And
package to
they
offer.
actually came in here and met with us.
Yeah.
I think it was early when, before our normal meeting time, and that had to have been 4 or 5 years ago, and I think we talked about some, available financing that might be available rather than going to, the bond banks or whatever. But I think it's always interesting to keep a relationship open with all of the financial institutions that may very well be doing business in town, because there might be opportunities to look at any one of them.
And it may be to the point where we wanna separate some of this stuff, I don't know, you know?
I mean, one thing that we know Gorham does municipal leases.
Very competitive.
So, there's an opportunity there as well, so, and same thing is for savings, is certainly competitive. I'm not sure if they hold or deal with municipalities. I'm not sure that credit unions can, but there's a little danger to that. But it's willing to keep, an interest in it.
I think the credit unions may be able to on some of the buildings and equipment that we're buying.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question. Maybe I don't know enough about it, and maybe I can be enlightened, but this open line of credit, you made a statement that we could use that for things that weren't funded. That kind of opens up a Pandora's box, I think, here, and how are we gonna, pay for that, or how is that gonna be regulated? If the townspeople didn't vote on something to authorize it, how can we just go in? It almost seems that we're gonna have a blank check for nothing that was approved by, the citizens of the town. So I'm just kind of curious as to how that's gonna work.
A few more words to explain that perhaps. It's been approved at town meeting, but it's not in the budget. For instance, the salt shed, perfect example. If they approved buying a dump truck and it wasn't in the budget, you then have to go out and put out a bid for financing. And if you decided to use this, then this would be that line of financing that you could use immediately.
Well, that would have been approved at the meeting, and some funds would have been approved at town meeting.
Funds
Not-
approved,
right, but not necessarily
budgeted.
where it was gonna come
The-
from.
The dump truck, you had $10,000 in that budget.
10 or 20, yeah.
I thought it was 10, but either way, you raised a certain amount of money, but that was only for that one year.
That's right.
The
Right.
fire trucks and the ambulance is the same way. You're taking out a 10-year mortgage or a 5-year mortgage on this equipment that we own. Same way with the cat backhoe is leased through Caterpillar, but I agree with you, Gordon. It's a scary open market, but it's
Well, I can see where it can cut through some red tape and avoid some long delays. I'm just curious about the methodology on how we're gonna use that. I can see if the town meeting floor says, okay, we'll authorize the purchase of a dump truck up to X amount of dollars that may have been put into that, and the funding option was left open, because I understand that a lot of things can be put out to a bond issue or something like that. I just don't want it to be perceived as we've got this huge pot of money that's available to us with no guidelines, or, that we can just dip into this anytime we want to fund something that we couldn't get through on the town meeting floor.
Nothing would be funded by it unless the town meeting had approved it. For instance, we just ordered an ambulance. If we had an open line of credit like that and the interest rate was comparable or the best, then we could use that to pay for it. But still approved by town meeting.
you got one article in your town meeting articles that raises whatever you've spent, for your leases and or your loans.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with it, and I think that whoever might be listening might have, had their antennas, go up, on that, but I think it's clearer now, so.
Good idea to bring that up. Yep.
okay. Any other questions of Gary? Well, let's move on.
Special town meeting on raising money for the snowplow contract that we don't have funding for. Any thoughts on that?
I wasn't intending to do that. I guess you can if you want to fund it that
Well,
way.
you're gonna be about $50,000.
No, a lot more than that. I mean, we budgeted 250 and it's what, 380, so you're,
So you're, yeah. You're gonna need another 100,000 on that snowplow contract.
is that what
You
the board
can't-
wishes to do to,
Yeah,
Fund
well, we're
that.
gonna have to do it at some point, I would think, because yes, you can overrun your snow plowing and general assistance are the two that you can legally overrun, without the townspeople's vote, but, we know at this point that, that bid is way more than what we raised at town meeting, so
Yep.
that bill's gotta be paid, and we just can't pull that type of money out of a hat.
Yeah, so I think we ought to at least pencil in a special town meeting. We've had some other discussion earlier of, you know, things that may or could get addressed in that, but,
you wanna pick a month?
well, I mean, there's nothing that's gonna happen within the first half of this year. I mean, certainly we're gonna make the commitments and those kind of things, but,
Do it November before holidays start?
I guess that would be my put.
You can go as far as January or February or even March, because you got money enough to pay the contract till first of March.
Right, if we're gonna do that, then let's think about other things you might wanna have on that town meeting.
That was my only thought, that, I mean, we know that the snowplow contract is one of them, but
Keep that on your docket there, and we'll have some discussion about that.
Why don't we make that an agenda item for the next meeting to actually
Let's
formally?
we can put it on the
I
agenda.
guess at that time, we'd wanna take that public works budget and see if there's anything that
I mean, we can put it
work
on,
to be done that can be held off a year, and maybe work with the road review committee to be able to pay for that without taking it out of the taxpayers' money.
Most of those big projects for this fiscal year are being done now and finished up now, so there's not a whole lot of paving and town roads, big jobs that.
let's put it on, it's not on the agenda tonight, so let's put it
Okay.
on the next meeting's agenda, and we can at least talk in and around of how urgent or how long we wanna wait to do that.
This is a 5 Tuesday month, so we meet next on October 13th.
Right.
The other question I've got is, that dump truck, is that going out to bid? We're
Yep.
gonna get specs and get
Yep.
that out to bid?
Specs are almost done.
Pretty
I haven't seen them yet, but
Yeah,
we get some of these other things out of the way.
yeah.
But I think Doug's got the list of specs that he wants.
Okay? Anything else? Alright, new business, discuss vote on poverty abatement application heard in executive session on
Yeah.
7.
About item 7C. Mr.
Oh,
Chairman.
I'm sorry. See, I'm so used to running through the selectmen and not having any other staff and report, so we will take care of 7C. Mr. Code Enforcement Officer.
Good evening.
I apologize for that. I wasn't intending.
I was
I was
panicking.
just trying to fly to this meeting.
I can see the sweat running down your
We're
brow
gonna
now.
worry about the eyesores.
You're like, what am I still doing here if they're not gonna call me?
I don't have enough to go around, so I'm gonna start two different sets of pictures in both ends. These are the worst cases we have in town that I'm aware of. One is, well, the names and addresses are on the bottom of the pictures. And this is another set. I think there might be enough of those to go around.
Yeah,
These are all the same, so. I know what that is, so.
A lot of auto sales in the Grant property.
Okay, yeah.
I think you should all have a copy of my report already.
I have,
Yes.
on this particular one, the last one you put out on, going on Main Street, I have notified the law firm that I served the paperwork for, so that they're gonna notify the bank that, that needs cleanup on this, because the bank owns it now.
They do, Canada National Bank.
Yeah.
In fact, they own a couple in Waterboro, both of
Yeah.
properties are in violation. I'm not gonna read through any of this unless the board wants me to. Pretty much everything's self-explanatory. Victor Garnick has a court date in December. Lloyd Grant has an official notice of violation. Chappelle is making headway. I do want to talk about Doobie Retrospect Sod Works on Jellison Road. And I think I realize you don't have a copy of his letter.
So it wasn't just me.
No. That was my fault, but not Christine's.
Thank you.
I thought I submitted a copy of the letter.
Thank you.
I'll let you read that before I, and sorry for the delay in this.
Thank you.
Is the board familiar with this address on Jellison Road?
Yep.
I have not replied to this letter yet, kind of waiting for input from the Board of Selectmen.
I guess my first question would be, because there was an issue with the site that he wants to take them to in Hollis. They were there for many, or there were additional ones there for many moons, but they couldn't get out of there because of some hang-up. Now he wants to take them back there?
Oh, I'm not
That's the way I
aware.
read this?
Yeah, I'm not aware of that issue. So you're
So
aware of
you
an
might
issue?
wanna- You might want to talk to the CEO in Hollis.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have one currently.
Yeah.
But I can, let me touch base with Peter, see what he knows about it.
Do we know what the complaint was in 2006?
Not exactly. I know there was a neighbor complained about the cars being parked so close to the road and so close to the cemetery, and there's an abundance of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure why any of that would have been considered legal. I mean, where you look at the cars today, there's absolutely no, I can't fathom why any CEO, whether it would have been all the way back to Van or Patty or anybody else in between, would have said, well, you're okay.
Right, I don't know either. I wish I could explain that, but I can't.
Unless a lot of those cars came in after
No,
that
he's,
complaint came in here.
yeah,
At one time,
pardon me?
at one time, and I'm trying
Oh.
to word this in the right direction.
Oh, okay,
A junkyard was not a junkyard if a vehicle can be started within 2 hours of the state police investigating it. No, this was,
really?
yeah, this was back, when Van and Patty was here. I think Tim Nelson was involved in that. The state police investigated junkyards, salvage yards.
Yeah.
And if a vehicle can be started within 2 hours, it's not considered junk or salvageable. As long as that car will start and move, it wasn't considered.
Well, that's not the standard today, obviously.
Yeah, and that might have gone back to some of that. I won't
But
guarantee.
that certainly doesn't grant for our father today.
No,
No, it doesn't.
no.
I guess the question that I have is, do you mean that we can't find a conditional use permit?
That's correct.
So,
I don't believe that the planning board ever gave a conditional use on that.
Well,
And that would have been back in my days.
yeah. Unfortunately, I keep finding information that's not available in the archives. So in the 9 months I've been here, I've made the assumption that if I can't find it, then it wasn't issued. That may not be a fair assumption for the applicant, but the only one I can stand on legally. So in Mr. Doobie's case, I've told him the same thing. If I can't find it, then it's not legal. And you know, he mentions Patty's name in here, and I haven't touched base with Patty because it really doesn't matter what she says or what has been done years past. What matters is what's occurring there today.
I think if the truth is known, this goes back before Patty.
Oh, I believe it.
I think this goes back to when Patty was the planning board secretary, which would have been back to Sharon's days too.
So it had to have been in
I
90.
mean, it would have been back in the
I mean,
90s.
man was mid-90s when he passed away, so it was, I mean, I don't know how anyone
I
could go
don't-
look
I
at this
don't have a
lot
lot
today
of
and
memory
say,
of it, but-
somewhere along the line, this guy was grandfathered. I mean, he's got cars parked 5 feet from gravestones.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
does.
it's like,
so have we given him, have we sent a letter out to him to correct this and given him a time on this? Or?
Well, I haven't sent him out a formal notice of violation. I've been waiting for the state to help me with this, and they haven't been much help, unfortunately. They keep giving me vague answers.
If you
So-
haven't got a permit on file, it's up to him to prove that he's got one.
That's correct. That's correct.
So the question is here, I mean, he's saying he'll move these cars hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so I'm wondering where we stand. Have we given any time to have this cleaned up?
We have not yet.
Okay, so the hopefully can stand at this time, but if we send him something, then we're not going to buy the hopefully. You know?
Well, I guess what I would like to do is send him a notice of violation. So, you know, depending on what the board says to me tonight,
I think you gotta pull the trigger.
we got to pull the trigger on
Yeah.
it. The same with everything else. We seem to be riding this horse until the sun sets. You know, we're not gaining anything. You know, they're all nice guys, but we still have laws to abide to. And you're right, John. This hopefully thing doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that, you know, there've been no complaints. You don't have to have a complaint, and just because the CEO didn't drive up and say, hey, I got a problem with you in the last, 9 years or 10 years, doesn't mean that you're not in violation,
Right.
so.
And all the laws are pretty clear. You know, any mistake my predecessor has made in the past, I'm not saying there were mistakes, but if there are mistakes, that doesn't mean that he can continue to operate illegally, or I can act illegally as far as that goes. So if the board is okay with me following through on a notice of violation, then, I'll give him until November 30th to comply.
November 30th is kind of a short time. I mean, I think when we were looking at the latter auto sales, we were probably over lenient.
We were.
There, but
Yep.
I think that some measure of consistency should be in order so that we're not accused of playing favorites or,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yep.
I think,
You're right.
November is kind of quick.
Yeah.
I would say December 1st myself.
Yeah,
just-
the consistency part is a
That'll
hard thing
take care
to
of the
achieve
snow.
Yeah,
with junkyard violations.
yeah.
And only because I haven't been able to come up with the documents that can support
Now,
my
the one
violation.
thing that apparently this one has in his favor is he's not right out on Route 5 where
Yeah.
people go by there all the time and they take immediate notice of it. He's kind of under the radar a little bit.
Okay, so
Glenn, you said November 30th is what the date that you were,
well, that's what I'm thinking in my head. Nothing's formal yet.
I mean, that's 60 days. That should be ample time.
And keep in mind, I've been working with this guy for 2
He
months
knows
already.
it's
Yeah.
coming because it's already
Yeah.
here, and I mean, I'm good with November 30th.
Yeah.
And I
Because
would be,
That's
gonna
60
clean
days,
things-
that's
gonna
quite a
clean
bit.
things up hopefully before snow.
yeah. Okay, November 30th it is. Any-
I will make a motion if you want one.
Don't need
I
it
don't
to
think-
be-
I don't need a motion.
Yeah, as long as,
Your call, right?
Yep. Any questions on the code enforcement report?
Do you have a number of cars that you determine he needs to get down to?
3 is a magic number.
Yeah, and just, I guess, to go along with that, we have 3 or 4 registered junkyards in this community that come back to us on an annual basis. He's not one of them, right?
Correct.
So he's quote unquote doesn't
not-
have a permit for a
He's
junkyard.
not in compliance with anything
Right.
that
He
he
had
can
never
prove.
been back.
Is he a recycler formally?
He is not a recycler.
What is his license from the state today?
He is an inspection station and he can sell cars. No. Yeah,
Does he have a dealer plate?
he has a dealer plate. So
That puts a
Roger Nagy,
whole different ballgame.
it is, but none of these cars
Right.
are saleable because they're not inspected or can't be inspected and they're not registered. Now the state will allow him to
You gotta
post a
stop right
vehicle.
there, and, anything is inspectable if it's, the right work is done on it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, I
If
guess
he's
the
running-
rule,
If he's running an automotive garage, there ain't much that can't be inspected at some point.
I guess really the definition of what is he doing, is he parting out, he only has Saabs there, right?
that's right. He only has
So,
Saabs. He's really
He's gotta
restricted.
be taking
Parts
from one to the other,
Yeah.
and, I mean,
Once he pulls the motors out.
that
then
to me
he-
is recycling,
Yeah.
right?
It is, and Roger Nagy's been out there and has worked with me. Roger Nagy runs the detective division for motor vehicles, and he supersedes what all these guys do, and he's the guy that I couldn't get. Roger, just give me an answer, please. They just kind of beat around the bush, and so
It might be interesting to check with Hollis to see if there was
I will do
issues.
that. Yeah, I will do that.
On the first two, Glenn,
You looking on my letter?
the Lasky, is that, did you say the bank, that's the bank's responsibility, or?
Canada National Bank owns
Owns the property.
McClaskey's and one on West Road.
So the bottom line question is, when can we expect this to be cleaned up?
Camden Bank is reluctant to spend any money on those, but, the town will force them to. So my last conversation with him on McClaskey was that they were working on hiring a vendor to clean up the property.
Oh, yeah, somebody
You know, if you're working hard to clean it up, it takes 2 days and it's cleaned
Right.
up,
Yep.
So, what about Grant?
Grant is not bank owned to my recollection. I just sent her out a notice of violation September 10th, so she has 30 days to get cleaned up.
Again, it looks like 5 people, 3 hours, have it cleaned up.
Okay, this is the one that I mentioned to you.
This is the one you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
I have criteria that I have to follow for violations, so if I follow all those steps, it takes 90 days before the town can take them to court. So I send them a nice letter. If they don't answer the nice letter, then I send them a notice of violation. And then after that second set of 30 days, I send them a 80K ruling, which Natalie takes care of because I'm not certified in 80K. So 90 days before something happens, then you're in the court's hands. And Lott is a perfect example. You know, the court pushed his court date off to December.
Okay, so in the spring, is this gonna be cleaned up?
I don't know for sure. I hope so.
Keep pushing.
Yeah, these
Yep.
properties are really hard to get action on, unfortunately.
So ladder is still in litigation.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
We know that the property down across from the Jellison Road, that's been cleaned up,
Yep,
the Cressy place.
yeah. Petco did that.
Yeah, how about
Then there's
the
one next to that.
Leon house that's on
Main Street.
Main Street? It's almost across from the library, right in there.
Southern Maine Healthcare, the White House right on, between Southern Maine Healthcare and 202.
Oh, yeah.
Next to the farm stand.
Yeah, that's,
Is he the guy that runs a yard sale?
No.
no.
The other side.
It's
The other side
back
of the,
this way.
Back this way of the...
Between the farm stand and the
It would probably
Okay.
classify as a haunted house. I mean, it's fairly close to the road and it's big and just in very, very disrepair, you know.
Yeah, I'll look at that.
I know your excuse me, your predecessor had conversations with Dimitri or Mitzi Leon, or Chadbourne, I guess her married name is. And she knows she has to do something with it, but there's what, 4 kids?
No, there's only 3.
3?
3 kids.
So the place is occupied.
No.
No.
No, it hasn't been occupied.
It's
for
been occupied since
years.
their mother died years ago.
Okay.
I think they originally were talking about burning it, and the fire department
Yeah.
wouldn't because it's too close to the road
Right,
to be
that's correct.
safe.
Yeah.
So then they just left it.
Okay. We can't act on that unless I can prove it's a dangerous building.
With, like the Grant and the McGlasky, is the health officer also, is there anything from a health officer's perspective that could help you get those cleaned up
Well,
quicker?
I am that.
You're the assistant.
Yeah, well, yes. Just to clarify that a little bit, there is no assistant health
Okay.
officer. We're both of the same caliber. Yeah, so Lisa and I look at issues that health officers typically look at, which was this one, which was Chappelle, and the one on Northland Road. The one on Northland Road. Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Brought tears in my eyes seeing that lady live in a place like that. But it's all good. She's in good hands.
Yep.
Good.
And she's still ugly, but she's in good hands anyway.
I assume you're referring to her disposition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want to leave that house, and she was a little ugly that she was forced to. I don't need any action on this. It's just bits of information that I'm working on. And I'll be talking to you about probably October 13th, I think, is the time frame.
Thank you.
Yep.
Glenn?
Hey, guys, need no action on this tonight. It's just a point of information.
Okay.
If the board is done with me, I gotta get to Alfred and cast my vote.
Okay, that's right. I think we're done. Any questions more from Glenn? Got plenty of time.
Thank you, board. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You need these pictures back?
If you don't want them, we'll take them back.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use them for comparisons when they clean it up.
Yeah.
Okay. We all set? Now we can get on to new business. Discuss vote on poverty abatement application heard in executive session on 7/14. I believe that any of that was in this packet, correct?
That wasn't.
So we're just going by memory, and that goes back to the request that Nancy came in here with.
And you had asked the applicant to provide some additional information.
So do we have that form? Because we have to,
I was never given that because it's confidential. Nancy had informed me that the applicant never followed up with providing the additional information that was asked for. So she would just let the
well,
vote
without
on
the
this.
form in front of us,
I will make a motion that we deny the abatement.
I think that's all we can do at this point.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? If we need to sign the form, let us know.
If we need to sign it, just holler and we'll then sign it. It's something.
Yeah, I mean, I think there has to be a reason for it.
Let me go ask
The
her right now.
you know, I mean,
The reason for denial
Reason
is
is-
lack of information.
yeah. While she's doing that, let's move on. High priority comprehensive plan task at a meeting the other night. I think we went through the task list. Gary and Lee J have come up with this list that's part of the packet. tonight.
Gary and Christina.
Oh, Gary and Christine, I'm sorry. So it shows the high priorities in every one of the categories that we were talking about. So I don't need to go through all of them, but I think the real issue that we want to continue to keep in front of the board here is there something happening with these high priorities?
Would you like Nancy to come in real quick?
No,
I
I
think here's
don't think
the
we
one.
need it. We just need to sign the form.
Yeah.
She can continue to do what she's doing.
She's getting ready to go home, so she's.
Yeah. So, under the educational stuff, I think when we look at this, most of this is working a bit.
We gotta go back, Dennis.
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here.
Yeah, so I can't even make that motion. That was the one that I came in late on.
Okay.
She was still here, but I never heard
So-
half of it, so.
So I
want
guess
to
that
refrain from my motion.
becomes a
As I seconded it, I'll make the motion that we deny the applicant.
So now we need a new second.
I would second it.
Okay, seconded by Selectman Gerard. So moved by Selectman Littlefield, seconded by Selectman Gerard to deny the hardship abatement request due to lack of information. Right?
And there's only 4 lines there anyway,
Right.
so.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0-1, abstention.
Sorry about that. I did know all about it, but
Okay.
I wasn't here at the.
Well, thanks for bringing it up because you never know when one of those will come back
Yeah.
out of the woodwork. Okay, so high priority comprehensive plan task. Not that we can solve these tonight, but I think we need to keep this in front of us to, and I guess I would, if the suggestion is we put this into pending decisions and have a quick look at it every week.
Yep.
Or every meeting. If everybody's good with that, we'll have the next meeting is scheduled for October 20, where we'll go through this again. But I think what we need to just keep in tune with is, is something going on these items?
And just to add to that, one of the priorities coming out of that water district last night, that right of way or town road that we was talking about in East Waterboro,
Yep.
maybe trying to get, working with the landowners, that's another reason to persuade that, and probably a top priority.
Would it be beneficial to the board to, each week, to keep this, the energy moving on this, each week, take one of the items and have those that are responsible for that in to give us sort of a report? I mean, that kind of lets everybody know that, you know, we are monitoring it, and, you know, like one week we can have the Public Works Director in, and,
Well, isn't that kind of the point of having our monthly meeting?
Yeah, really. I think what we want to, you know, I think if we keep it on the pending decisions, then every 2 weeks, we're at least gonna take a look at it, right? But the monthly meeting has to be the one that, what's going on, what's the status?
Right, because we don't want
There's a
to
few of
meeting
them,
out people, you know.
Right.
there's a few of them that just gotta be pushed in order to get it done, so
yeah.
if we bring it up every 2 weeks, the top priorities, then,
So any further discussion on what we have here? I think we've got a,
Mr. Chairman, did you already schedule another workshop for that?
yes, the
Okay,
20th.
thank you.
That was done, I think the last one.
At the last one, and I would,
But
yeah, you can.
I think at least we probably ought to, it should at least be noted in this week's minutes that it's,
And it's at
scheduled,
6
because there
instead of
weren't-
6:30.
right. It's at 6 o'clock
On
on
October
October
20th.
20th.
All right, yeah, I think I do have
Because we
that,
don't,
actually.
we really don't do anything in those workshops, so. Well, I should say that. We do stuff in the
Don't vote.
workshop, we don't vote it,
there's
right?
no vote taken.
Okay. Anything anybody wants to go over here in particular? I have just quickly, this first bullet here, which was to have somebody involved in coordinating the volunteerism. Bob gave me an article that was in the Journal Tribune, and I can't remember which municipality it is, but they have a director of volunteerism. And
Right?
yeah, it might have been Gray, but I'll make a copy of that and get it out to everybody. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Just not, I mean, they're doing what they're doing, but I think the issue is that they've actually got somebody that's helping coordinate all that stuff, so. And I know that Bob has made that suggestion on more than one occasion, so.
I'm quite sure that I've got a complete copy of Gray's charter, which I think would lay that out.
Okay,
Never finding it, but I
anything
think
else on that?
I think the director of volunteer, that's an area where I feel we really should move strongly. And we're naturally looking at it being a volunteer that does the volunteer program. I don't think you're gonna have someone that can put in that amount of time on a consistent basis to really make this work unpaid.
Right.
However, you know, I guess the question too is that we may know of people, or even having people part-time working here, that might be good at that and might be interested in it. So this is something I would like to keep our antennae up, and maybe it gets into the budget as a part-time position next year.
I'm going to elaborate just a little bit right there, John, because in the last 10 years, I have said that all of these committees should be getting some type of a stipend. The Planning Board and the Zoning Board of Appeals are the only two boards that are paid other than the fire department. And I think you'd have more volunteers.
Well, then, if they're getting a stipend, they're not a volunteer.
correct, but, if they thought they was gonna get something out of it, I think you'd have more involvement.
So we probably, I think you probably need to look at, that as is there an incentive for people to volunteer if there's some level of compensation? That's really the question that's gotta be answered, right? So that's something that we probably ought to tee up and spend some time on early on the 20th, is this first bullet, because I think that'll help drive some of the other stuff. All right, old business, discuss vote on the food pantry lease, round 7 or 8, whatever it is, right?
Yes, something like that. Well, this has been agreed on by both attorneys, so hopefully we can sign it tonight.
Everybody has the latest one in front of you, and I think the last change was a request by page 4. Right, section 11, page 4, which was an additional sentence. It was provided, however, that nothing in this section 11 is intended to prevent the tenant from occasionally permitting third parties to use the leased premises for the limited purposes described in section 4. Section 4 was the one that we talked about the last time, and we were very specific in what could and couldn't be done in the words of can't be consumption of alcohol, storage of alcohol,
And that was agreed
no
on.
time should the leased premises violate any occupancy restrictions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So 4 was added. I'm not sure why 11. I mean, signing and subletting, I guess if this makes Attorney Dickinson happy, then I'm not sure how that all fits, but all this really addresses is the occasional potential usage of the building.
Actually, that was your attorney that added that.
No, but it was per the request of your
Oh, okay.
attorney. And I believe he is okay with this from the conversation, right, or the email.
Yeah.
So what's your pleasure, folks?
I think that one in there is so that they don't, the pantry doesn't sublet the premises to some other organization to carry on and conduct business. But it prohibits that, but it still allows them, to have a baby shower there or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's so
Not
that
that
they,
we ever would, but it would leave us the option if we need the money.
I had asked for some information from Donna from the paper. Did we put that together?
Well, he doesn't have plans to know exactly the square footage inside. I mean, he estimated it from the building size, and an estimation of about 2/3 or 3/4 of the building would be the front room and not the locked kitchen.
The kitchen, it's not a kitchen, but the storage area would be 10 feet wide by 26 feet.
And, I mean, it was somewhere in probably the 6 to 10 occupancy if it was a place of assembly. So, and you've heard me say, and Cleo's heard me say many times, that when she goes to get the building permit, she has to tell Glenn what the building's gonna be used for, and that can greatly affect, you'd say yes or no in terms of egress and things like that, so.
And-
He will put the restriction basically.
So basically, this premise with the proposed size would roughly allow a gathering of 6 to 10 people.
That's a guess at this point in time, but whatever it is, it will be posted in the building, and thou shalt not exceed that.
Now, if the members, the volunteers, if we had a meeting, would that be an exception to the rule? No?
You'll have to ask him that, I would hope
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this would not be to others, it would be just the
'Cause you
volunteers
have
having a meeting.
40 volunteers, and you're gonna need to gather more than those numbers.
The state sets that seating square footage per chair, and that's set in the state, not in the state fire marshal. But,
Yeah, the fire marshal's gonna rate the room
Yeah,
for X
and
amount
that's-
of,
But they don't all come to the meeting, that's the
but
thing.
that's only gonna allow you so many chairs in that building.
it's not a meeting room, I mean, it's not a meeting building, right?
Now,
So,
Well, we have our meeting room at the
right,
Heritage
but I mean, but
Building,
if you
so
had 100 people you had to have a meeting for, you're gonna go somewhere else,
exactly.
it's
basically.
the same way here.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, what's your pleasure, folks?
I will move that we accept the ground lease agreement as written.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Comments? You all set, Dwayne?
I am.
Nothing? Tammy Jo?
Yep.
Gary?
Yes.
John, and you guys made the motion, so I'm gonna make the assumption that you are, so all those in favor? Opposed?
Here,
I
here.
wanted to see if Cleo was gonna start dancing. That's what I'm waiting for.
It's only been a year.
Who was the second on that? I'm sorry.
Gordon.
Wood.
You seconded.
Oh, yeah, I second it. I thought you meant
I could get the checkbook out to pay the whole dollar.
All right. Do we have an official page we can sign?
There it is.
It's gonna have a witness on it, so it's gonna have a stamp. So,
Christina.
okay.
Okay, while we're doing that, discuss town of Hollis, use of the transfer station. I'm not sure that, where do we leave this? I mean, it kind of like,
Kind of up in the open with it, I mean.
yeah, I mean,
I need to
there
talk to
really
the
has to be a discussion with the
Yeah,
selectmen.
I think the last time we talked about it, we were gonna have a meeting
Set
with
up for a
them,
meeting.
invite them over.
It was funny because at 12 Town Group, one of the Hollis selectmen was there, and I asked him about it. He was like, "We don't want to go back to the way it was. We just want you to be a regional center."
Who said that, McCombie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm a little confused by
I guess we need
where
to
the
sit down.
intent is of this.
Yeah, that's right, we had to meet with them, find out exactly what they want.
So why don't we set up a meeting with them?
Want me to invite them here, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
October 13th?
Why not?
Just need to see the back on the other end of the table.
Set it for a specific time later in the evening, and we'll conduct our business and bring them in.
You can close the meeting and go into the workshop.
So Cleo, another hurdle
Yes.
jumped over here.
Now I just have to raise $55,000.
Yeah.
Only that.
You know, see over at Woody's, right?
Yeah. Well, we lost 2 grants because we didn't have a copy of the lease. They wanted a copy of the lease before they could make a decision, so we kind of lost that, but we still have about 6 others that we applied for that we're waiting for some answer.
That's gotta be,
Yeah, you go back in the folder. Or
Okay,
does she have to sign it?
she's gotta sign it.
she's gotta sign it, and you gotta notarize it for
So
witness.
somebody's gotta
Do I
witness.
get a copy?
You will, but we're gonna just use this signature page and then remove all the blue ink, change the dates, and make it up current, and then if you sign that, we'll use this page for that.
Official?
Thank you very
While
much.
she's doing that, other, discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the September 8th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Thanks.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Pending decisions, we're gonna pull the comprehensive plan task list and put that as a, and we'll just keep that updated and keep that on the pending decisions list. weekly action list, you're gonna get something out to the Hollis Board of Selectmen
Yes. I'll do
to
that
bring
before I
them
leave tonight.
into, see if they can come up on the 13th. I think they meet Wednesday nights, maybe, I'm not sure.
We're gonna keep the sports fields on pending decisions, just to keep that in the,
Well, I think we've done all we can for the moment with the one on Townhouse Road, Gordon. They've walked it, and ideally, they would like to pursue larger property that could have multiple fields for the long run. So they didn't express an interest to go either way with that one. Kind of neutral after that walk, or maybe pulling back a little.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Cleo.
I think really,
Thank you. Thank you all.
and I still say it really is, somewhere, somehow, this gets back to Mike and the rec department to say, I've got all of these people coming to me because we need more space, right? What are we gonna do? And not that he can solve it, but I think he's gotta be the conduit.
They were gonna talk with Denby's, or Denby heirs, and they had a connection there, I guess. I reached out to the church for the 8 acres under the power lines next to Blast from the Past, and they have no intention of selling that now. Somebody who was cutting the hay made them a rather low offer, I guess, it was unsolicited, and they weren't interested in that. But I did ask Dwayne Moran, who's a member of the church there, if they do want to sell, can we have first refusal, and if you have a sale price, let me know what it is. He did not respond, because I don't think they have a price right now. They've owned that for, what, 30 years, I
A
think.
long time, huh?
I can tell you right now, the water table is too high for an athletic field right there.
But all we're doing is growing grass, though.
2/3 of the year, that's underwater.
We can put in some drainage. It's all clear, that saves a lot of
at
money.
least we wanted to put in an irrigation system.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
Talk
Anyway,
about green.
it's something I think that has to stay on the horizon, whether or not we're, you know. But I think those users of those fields have gotta be really on the initiative
But
to say,
we've
what are
got,
we gonna do?
we've got 2 fields down behind what used to be the middle school, Massabesic E, that are
Yeah,
not being used, and it's just lack of maintenance. And
Well, that's the
this
case with all the
Pee-wee-
fields.
This Pee-wee football is, SAD 57, it ain't just Waterboro.
Right.
And, they're looking for these fields in Waterboro, and we've got 2 fields that are very capable of being used down there.
so why don't we invite the superintendent in or whatever to see if we can start some dialogue and, because that may be an option.
Well, they have the dialogue with them, right? They utilize Massabesic sports fields now.
Yeah,
And I think what they're saying is that that's not sufficient to meet their needs for practice and everything else.
I think it was the high school stuff, wasn't it, that they were
Well, and
using?
then once they refurbish all of these fields, the time available for Pee Wee football becomes even less because they're gonna be even more multi-use and they're gonna use them for school first.
Right,
But if there are those fields there that just need some maintenance, if the football boosters were willing to put some money into looking at something in the town, maybe they'd be willing to do some kind of work with the school to bring those fields up to snuff for, the agreement that they're able to have first use of them.
This is not unique to Waterboro,
No.
okay? You've got all of these big systems that have got the same problems, and, fortunately, they cipher out different things. You look at Torrey Hill, just happens to, have the ball fields there, but I'll tell you, there's 500 kids there.
Oh,
On the
it's
weekend.
unbelievable, yeah.
same way with Kennybunk. Kennybunk has got fields all over the place down
So,
there.
but it really should be, there should be some level of coordination, and I don't see that today. I just don't see it. I don't think
It
that.
seems like nobody's working together.
I mean, if you
yeah.
take Mike and the athletic director, and then you bring in, whether it's Little League or sport, or the soccer or the football, I would think that there would be a forum of all of those people that would say, how are we gonna conduct all of the sports? In the surrounding communities, because ultimately that feeds the system, right? So the athletic director has gotta be, because I would think the AD for Massabesic, or the district has gotta be the guy that controls the fields, huh?
Really what happens is you get a successful varsity football program, and that motivates everybody.
Sure, but I
Because
mean,
you get 2,000 people going to the football games, and you got that type of stuff going on. Then the athletic director is effective, and all the parents are strong, and things get done.
anyway, I think it's a bigger issue than just us poking around to see, boy, is there a spot that they can use? So, but I think it's something that we keep on the horizon anyway. All right, items needing signature, minutes, and discussion of agenda items. We'll talk about special town meeting, at least the discussion. What else do we want to put on the agenda?
There's the new planning board bylaws.
The planning board has submitted to us a list of their, actually, what BJ put together, correct?
Yeah.
A list of some of the recommendations that they've made relative to design standards and whatnot. There's the bylaw issue that, yes, we have to vote on that, right?
That's not clear. Lee J did not think you had to, but I thought you had in the past.
We have in the past, but I,
Right. Somebody's got a public hearing on that, ain't they? Planning board?
I don't know the
Bylaws?
bylaws.
Usually that's just the board.
Yeah, I think that, I don't see us getting involved in that, because that doesn't change the zoning ordinance, that's their individual board's bylaws, right? That's right.
Now, we changed those once before, but, and that may have changed in the past over the last 15 years, but when we changed the bylaws before, we had to have a public hearing on that.
Well,
No, we did new bylaws and mission statements 6 years ago
Right.
for all the town committees or so.
Yeah, if anything, it's gonna get covered, it would get covered not under the, Charter
It would have been in
under
that,
the
it would
zoning
have been in that zoning ordinance or the bylaws, the original bylaws of the planning board.
probably
And
was.
it was in a paper book about, like that.
Is that what they're trying to change?
I'm not sure what Dwayne's talking about. I mean,
Well,
what
the
he
original
proposes-
bylaw book was like a small notebook,
Yeah,
the size of that telephone sitting there.
right, and the
And-
bylaws
and it
was
was about,
really, this is how we're gonna
It
conduct
was
business.
30 pages or so, and it was created in 1977.
I believe Jay ought to be able to sort through that to determine whether or not we need to do that.
I don't see why you need to if you want to, that's okay.
Okay, anything else that we need to put on here? I'm sure something will come up. Did we have people waiting on committees? We did not, right? We took care of everybody.
Everybody's been taken care of.
We don't know whether we're gonna get the additional hardship abatement. The one that was, the one that we were gonna have on this agenda and then we weren't.
That, you're right, there is another one, the person didn't have time to get everything submitted to Nancy, so that very well may be ready. So you're looking at a possible
And we're gonna have
executive
the
session.
Hollis selectmen in, so that'll kill that night.
Hopefully.
Okay, hopefully. Anything else, folks? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Hollis Selectmen will be a workshop after the Selectmen's meeting.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?